Hello guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for the second show. Pretty exciting, isn't it? Like, from my perspective anyway, like, I swear I've talked about doing this for literally probably 9 months now, and I haven't got around to it, so I'm pretty chuffed with myself that I'm actually doing it. And it's good to start things, that's for sure, and not just to talk about things. So let's talk about who I think this is for. Like, I literally think yoga is for literally anybody, you know what I mean? What I initially was thinking, the people I would like to teach were guys like myself that are a little bit older, probably a little bit stiff, have been working at their desk for pretty much most of their lives, are relatively inflexible, if not completely inflexible, and people that are probably like a little bit nervous to even go to a class, you know, like it can be kind of daunting going to a yoga class. Like, it's almost like anything, when you start something new, it's a little bit scary, and therefore, like, you know, I'm hoping you can just start this in the comfort of your own home. You know, you don't have to be scared of anyone else that's like really, really good, or, you know, the thought of being embarrassed because you can't do something. Yoga classes and yogis are not like that anyway, so don't let that worry you. Like, go to a class first time if you want, that's for sure. Because there's no judging whatsoever. It's like a cool community, and yeah, there's nothing to be scared or worried about, that's for sure. But there are people that are, and you know, hopefully you can just do this from the comfort of your own home, and not have to really worry about anyone else, or you could be doing it with like your partner or whatever. So yeah, it normally originally was going to be for older men, but you know, I guess I have no control over who watches anything online. So whoever is going to join in, then feel free to join in. But I do think that older guys can really benefit from this. And as a guy, like, it's weird, we kind of have like egos, you know, everyone has egos, girls as well, but guys in particular, and we don't always kind of want to admit to not being able to do things. So being able to do this from the comfort of your own home is a nice way to kind of ease into it, and, you know, just realize that this is something new, and you won't be able to do it that well. I can promise you won't. Like, you are a beginner, and you're just gonna have to learn the ropes, and that is cool, you know what I mean? That's the cool thing about this, is you get to learn something new, which is just great. You get to find out something about yourself, something about your body, and just make yourself feel better. It's such a great way to nurture your body and your mind, and treat it nicely, you know what I mean? It's your body, you need to do that. So that's who I initially thought it was for, but like I said, it's for whoever wants to come. Invite everybody, please do. Now there's some stuff, like I said in the first show, that you don't necessarily find out when you go and do your first yoga class. So I want to just kind of highlight 3 things for me that I think are really, really important, and I'll just touch on them now, and then in other classes go into them in a little bit more depth before the start of the class, just because I find that when you understand these things and you understand a little bit more about the philosophy of yoga, it really helps like deepen your practice, and you just get more out of it by doing that, and that's really, really cool. And you become a bit more conscious when you're actually doing yoga of what you're doing and the impact that it's having on you. So the first one that I want to say that is important is your breath. Okay, now I didn't really get it explained to me in my first classes, like how to actually breathe. Okay, so I was just like doing these classes with my mouth open, breathing in and out whenever I kind of wanted to, and it actually wasn't a challenge. I was like, what's this all about? Like, you know, I mean, all I'm doing is like, I'm going from like stretch to stretch, and I'm, you know, it didn't it didn't feel too hard. And then there was other guys in the class, like some of my mates who actually invited me, and they were like dripping from, you know, the session we just had, and I kind of didn't really get it, and I was like, wow, well, you guys are unfit, or, you know, you guys aren't really that great at it. But it was probably, or definitely, because they were breathing properly, right? So in Ashtanga Vinyasa yoga, you do a type of breathing called Ujjayi breathing, right? And this type of breathing is basically with your mouth closed, okay? And the reason, briefly I'll tell you, is so that you can create some energy and heat and keep it also in your body, okay? And also, when you listen to your breath, it's a great distraction, I find, okay, from what else is going on in your life. You know, we all have really busy lives. We all have really busy minds. And somehow, if we can just distract it that little bit, even for a few seconds, then that is a good thing. That few seconds becomes more seconds, which becomes minutes, which becomes longer. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And there's a million other reasons why breath is important, and we'll go into that at a later stage. But what you want to do basically is breathe in through your nose, and when you breathe out, you're kind of breathing out through the top of your throat, right? And it's kind of like, it's like you're almost blocking it just at the top. You can listen to my breath and try it yourself as well. So breathe in through your nose. Now it kind of sounds weird, I know, like you'll go to a class and you'll hear there's often some heavy breathers and they take this next level. That is fine. That is their class. That's not for you to worry about. You kind of just focus on your own breath, right? And just practice this. So you just get it going, and you almost want to, you literally keep your mouth closed the whole class. Okay, you're just breathing through your mouth, out through the top of your throat. Okay, and it's amazing, like the heat it builds up in your body. You'll probably feel it when we start doing the classes. It's really, really powerful. So remember, that is the first thing, and something to focus on. Okay. Now the second one, what you're going to hear in classes is your yoga teacher is going to be talking about, and if you glance at your big finger, or your glance is at your hands or your big toe or just in front of you. Now this is, in Sanskrit, is called Drishti, which means focal points. Okay, so you're literally focusing on, somewhere, either on your body or like just on the horizon, or just in front of you or something like that. And once again, it's another, for me, right? It's another distraction method as well as a focusing method, right? So when you're focusing on your breathing, when you're focusing on where you are looking, these are things which are taking away from everything else going in your life. So it allows you to kind of just go a little bit more inside, okay? So this whole practice is just about yourself, and you just want to make the most of it. You want to switch off a little bit, and you want to enjoy the practice as much as you can, and not worry about everything else that's going on in your life. Okay. The third one, which is also a physical thing, is your bandhas. Okay. So these are locks that you have in your body. Okay. And there's two different ones. Okay. Now for guys, and I can't really comment for girls, but for guys, I find one of them extremely difficult to focus on, and I even like don't focus on it because it's very, very tough to do, and I think it's quite like an advanced thing to do when you're practicing yoga and you're having all these other things to think about. But I just want to tell you about it so that you're conscious of it. So at some point in the future, 1 year, 2 year down the line, when you're ready, you can sort of activate this and add it to your practice, just to help deepen it. Okay. So the first one is like your Mula Bandha, which is basically your perineum, and you kind of like locking it in. It's like when someone scares you, you go like that, and you kind of lock it in, right? And you almost want to lock it in the whole practice. Okay. The other one is your Uddiyana Bandha, right, which is just below kind of your belly button. Now, for that one, you almost want to be sucking in from below your belly button for most of the class, okay? Specifically on your out breaths, okay? So yeah, these are the two, but like I said, they're pretty advanced. They're very difficult to take into consideration when you're doing all the other things too. Don't worry about them too much to begin with, but just be conscious of them, that they're there, and you will hear yoga teachers talking about them quite a lot. So for me, those are the things to focus on, and hopefully it gives you like a little bit more insight, and we'll go more into those in the next lessons. I hope you enjoyed this little briefing. We'll go into some postures and stuff in the next class, and then after that we'll go into some actual classes that will be totally focused on beginners, and I hope you're enjoying these so far. Please let me know your thoughts, and we'll speak to you soon. Have a great day. Cheers.